throat, but I'll keep going on as best as I can. It's Sunday. It's, what, July 11th? I think it's 11th now. I forgot if it was 11th or 12th. But anyways, it's been over a week since I last did a stream, and the last stream that I did was the 9-year anniversary of my YouTube channel, Maniac 4 Bricks. For a little bit of context of this stream, it's basically continuing the Technic building that I had in the previous stream, because I only got one of the two Lego sets done in that stream, which, yeah, I had a lot of talking in between and going on to some other things, and to be fair, we had a whole bunch of Marvel discussion towards the end of the stream and just kind of shifted gears to that, which was totally fine. It was fun to speculate with JB Brick Fanatic and Vision Bricks at that point. But I wanted to get back to building the rest of this and giving some first impressions. Now, I will do reviews on each of the Lego sets later. I actually have a whole bunch of Lego sets that I've been working on reviews in a new format. So, stay tuned for more information about that. In the meantime, the one thing I can guarantee, because I've already recorded it over a week in advance, is that every Monday in this month of July, I will be uploading a new video early. I think it's 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's early in the day, but you'll see it throughout the day, so you'll get a chance for that sometime later. If I don't have any videos in between, then you got Mondays to look forward to, as I go over more older material that didn't fully make it into Lego videos, but it was still fun to take a look at again, give some thoughts of the process of them, kind of like I did last week. Most of them are done as these table reads because there are a lot of scripts, but I do have a few visuals for some of them, and hopefully you guys enjoy those videos going in. Now, going back into this one. So, we finished building the 42116 on the 9th anniversary live stream, the skid steer loader. And I also built the alternate model shortly after building the main model. The alternate model actually did require a computer, and I will have to get the computer again to set up the alternate instructions for this set that I'm building right now. And I still have it currently as the alternate model, the hot rod car, but I will talk more about that sometime later. You can check out that previous live stream to hear more of my thoughts about both of those builds, and or the video afterwards with more refined layout and I don't want to say scripting, but I think scripting while doing videos. Like, I know what I'm going to say, but I don't have it necessarily written down on a piece of paper. You know, I think about the presentation of it, or I think about the words I'm going to say before they fall out of my mouth. Most of the time. With live streams, it's a little more casual, off the cuff, if you may, of how everything's going to go. Just like that sentence. So currently we're building the main model for 42117, the race plane. Which I gotta say, both of these were $10 in the United States, and I really do like the Technic sets at the $10 price. I picked up one other one a couple months back, actually, not a couple months back, 6 months ago, that I think worked really well. And again, I would love to cover that one sometime later on stream, but for those who don't know, I don't build Technic that often, but there's always Technic elements in other Lego sets I want to get more acquainted with, and try to build things that are either of a Technic frame or using more mechanical functions. And something that I've been, teetering with for a very long time. This has been a long time kind of goal, kind of sort of thing, but building one specifically all Technic framed is another area I haven't fully worked on. So my goal with most of these like anniversary live streams, I did with this last year, I did it again this year, was to build Technic sets brand new that I've never built before, to get a better sense as to how things go together. And yeah, you are following the instructions for the most part, but I am still learning the process a little bit through putting pieces together. Yeah, I'm following the instructions, but I'm also saying, oh, look at this. Oh, this is how this connects. I never thought of it that way. That kind of stuff happens through any Lego building, regardless of the Lego theme itself. I've had that with even the most standard of system sets. So I'm going to keep going on from here, and I apologize if my hand gets in the way several times. Still working on the camera setup, still working on the Lego room setup. More information on later later dates, later posts. I do have a video that I've been working on in the background for a very long time, over a year, that I am looking forward to sharing a little more information about pretty soon. I've only done a little bit of that through my community tab, mostly asking about one minute detail, but still something I want to include. And even if it doesn't, even if I don't work it out right now, I'll figure it out later. Still got time for it, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. And this in particular is actually kind of interesting, using a bunch of system with Technic to make the look of it. So I will also highlight on that in my thoughts about it. So if I remember correctly, where I left off on this, the problem that I had was I was going to put this into place, but it looked like there was a one stud gap. So I thought, oh, maybe there's something wrong with this assembly, that maybe I didn't place this the right way. And I'm even looking at the main model itself. Everything seems to be lining up just fine. So let me look back on the instructions here, a little bit of backtracking, and see what's going on. No, this checks out too. So is it supposed to have a gap there? Because on the instructions, it doesn't really look that way. Well, I'm not sure if this is a time that I can bring words of encouragement, and I hate to say it's a little vague of a subject in order to bring that kind of words of encouragement, but I also do thank you for joining in the live stream, even though this was a spur of the moment kind of thing. And welcome. I did notice a couple other people in here. Building Brick, thank you for joining. Bionicle Forever, thank you for joining in here as well. And Zany Bricks. I'd say it's hard for me to give words of encouragement when I don't know the subject, and I don't want to be too vague or not too helpful with what words I could say. So I'm gonna try it again on the box. It looks like, yeah, it looks like it's supposed to line up there where I'm having some sort of gap right there. So something must be built the wrong way here. I'm going to try looking back a little bit further into the instructions here, see if I can find some more information. But I do recommend looking at the comments. There are some people that are kind enough to leave some words of encouragement in there, and hopefully that can push you in the right direction. Help you make the right decisions. Oh, I think I see what the problem is. Let me look forward. Yep, there we go. So, the problem that I found is that there was a gap in here. This gap should not exist. So this is just about me trying to follow the instructions. And I know I'm not always perfect about that, but I do my best when I can. And that's all we can ask for. There's some encouragement. Not everybody's expected to be perfect. Not everyone's expected to be, you know... I know not everyone can also be at the top of their game. Some things do come up. But at least make the best of what you're given. I remember there was a good Randy Pausch quote about that. I don't remember the exact quote, so I do apologize. But it had to do with life is like a card game. You know, you play the best with the hand that you're dealt. Again, not verbatim, but that's the general idea. You have a certain amount of options, you have a certain amount of abilities to get to, and you work with them in the best way, or hope for, working into the best outcome you can give. So, no problem. This Ant Build stuff. Welcome to the stream. That's one set I'm thinking of getting. So I actually wanted to get this one for a while since it first came out, because I really like all the teal that they give you, and I'm a sucker for teal. It's not my favorite color, but it's my favorite Lego color, which I find really weird. But it is a fun color to see around, and I would love to build more stuff with it. So, plus I think this is gonna have a lot more interesting. It's definitely already an interesting setup for everything. I know it's a difference between a plane and a front loader, but I wouldn't expect so much intricacy for a plane, if not for the play features and some structure. So let's see here. Can't guarantee this is going to be a long stream, but then again, I was on when I did the first stream and only went through one Technic set in 4 hours. Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't go that far. I do want to make an announcement video for Brick Fair, Virginia. I think the word's already out, and I've already kind of mentioned it before, that I will be attending Brick Fair, Virginia this year in 2021. And I'm already taken care of as far as safety goes. So I'm still going to keep safe while being there. I would always keep safe, but you know, this one being a little bit of a different case, something you know, I'll do my best with it. What's the phrase? Only the best is good enough. That's also kind of encouraging words for it's from Lego itself, from the good old Christiansens. I'm just trying to apply the sticker the right way because it keeps veering off. I think it's going to be like 90% hand here. So the 72-hour stream, I did want to get in tune with that, but unfortunately, I didn't look. I haven't really looked at any point to see what time slots were available, so I do apologize if I've already missed some things on the streams. I'd love to be a part of them. It was fun to try it out last year. I think they did it twice. But yeah, it was fun to try that out. I could have done better my part of it, to be fair. And I kind of wish I did a little bit more with it. But I haven't really scheduled it because of work, making sure that's all taken care of. I hate bringing up work. But it's a fact of life. It's a thing that everybody got to do. So I mention it because it's important, even if it's not related to the channel. And that's all I got to say about that. But I hope I don't even remember if it happened yet, but if it has, or it's still going on, then I hope everything goes well with it. I know a lot of good people that are on the 72-hour streams, whether hosting it themselves or co-hosting with someone else. Prefer Technic or System. So for the most part, I prefer System. I grew up with Technic. I've had Technic sets when I was younger, but I just didn't get acquainted with them that much. It was every so often I'd build a Technic set or something with Technic elements in them, so I didn't really, you know, get to build a lot of get really acquainted with different kinds of parts, or even just trying to build things on my own with them. Usually if I build something on my own with Technic pieces I grew up with, it was on the very basic level. Like the kind of thing that should look better or should perform better, but usually doesn't. And it's usually more about the functions than the structure. And structure, I believe, is something I need to improve on when it comes to Technic. Because otherwise I'm like, I built a box, I don't know where to go from here. Oh, is there only one? Oh, I thought I had to build two of them. Because I saw two wheels. Okay, August. Okay, so we still got time. For another thing recently. So I know Lego Masters has been going on, and I've only watched, honestly, the first 2 episodes. It's not that I don't want to watch the series. I just haven't sat down and taken time to catch up on it. I usually can't watch them on the days that they premiere, but I also don't for better or for worse, I don't engage with other live streams or other content from the community that talks about it, that talks about the show. Although I do know they've been, heavily marketing. We know with the Lego Walmart 66666 co-pack of 4 sets. I didn't find that one. It's not in my Walmart. I've tried looking a few times, but was not able to find it over the past couple of weeks. And let's see. And in all honesty, it's really not that special because the only exclusive thing for it is the bag. I don't know if they've ever... I don't recall that they've released the bag before that in any, like, store or anything like that, even at the Lego stores or like a Lego Land or something. The sets themselves are just Lego Classic sets. They've already existed. And really my biggest interest in it is that marketing. Is the fact that they've decided to bundle these sets together and slap the Lego Masters logo on it. I already own 3 out of 4 of the sets, if I remember correctly. Maybe 2 of them. There's one I'm not entirely sure of, but I definitely own some of the smaller sets from there. And at this point, finding them in Walmarts, at least in my area, they're pretty cheap. I mean, they're already starting out cheap, like $5 or so. But they've also gone down in price over, like, several months to $3, sometimes $2. So, packaging them all together, it's like it's easier for me to find them separate and cheaper than the bundle of them. And the bundle itself has also gone down in price. I think it was originally around 40 and then went around 25 or something, according to some listings I've seen or heard of. Again, it's just a little bit, it's about the bundle more than the sets. And maybe the bag. And then there's the Lego Masters playmat. So I did actually get that in the mail. I haven't posted anything about it yet because I actually worked on a video, hopefully I'll get that out soon, comparing that Lego Masters playmat to one of the older ones. And Lego's done several of them throughout the years. Other companies have done toy playmats that, they pull up the ends so you can, close it all together. They've done that for a while. And I thought it'd be fun to compare the new one with one of the older ones that Lego endorsed, that Lego, had a hand in, has their name on it. So that video will come out when it can come out. I actually tried working on that one not too long ago, but the problem I kept facing was that my editor kept having an error message. So there wasn't like everything except for the rendering went smoothly. It was at that rendering stage where it just wouldn't go forward. I don't know if it had to do with the storage or the processing itself, the computer I was doing it on. I'll figure it out. That's not something everybody needs to know or listen to. You probably tuned out already. Other videos have done that in the past. Sometimes it's about a storage issue where it's like, oh, if I free up a little bit more space and it'll run fine, but it doesn't always make itself clear like that. Oh, it drops down? But that feels so clunky. Maybe there's something else attaches to it. Oh, it's my favorite. So I have to put stickers on each of the ends of the propeller. And they're not... I've had a history with this kind of piece, putting stickers on it, Lego Agents specifically, and it's usually crooked. It's usually, like, very uneasy. Even right now. Yeah, it's a little bit off. I know people use methods for applying stickers, like a tool, like tweezers, or a brick separator. And not that I don't have those things. They're easy to use, but I just haven't really... I like having it in hand. I figure if I have it in hand, that's the most control I could have over it. Instead of having a tool in the hand, I don't know. Sometimes I do shake. Like when I'm trying to be very specific. It's it's not perfect. It probably could be better, but I don't want to scratch up the stickers either because I've had that before with one of the other ones. The sticker on this side almost started, creasing, but I digress. I never said this was the most engaging or the most interesting live stream thing. I was just like, well, I'll casually build. If people stop in, I'll welcome them, but it's fine if I just build this just to have it on camera. All right, so that piece goes up there. Oh, piece goes the other way. I've also been building some more mocks in the background. Something that I've wanted to get back into was making a lot of mock videos and customs videos. So I have that to look forward to pretty soon coming on the YouTube channel. Several that I've either had a bit more progress on a mock or completing it, or in the case of minifigures, actually getting more types of minifigures made, with purest custom pieces. I did that a long time ago and much more rapidly back then, but nowadays I'm like, oh yeah, I want to try that. I want to try that new. I want to try with new parts. Maybe even revamp some old designs. It'd be pretty fun. That's the name of the game. It's fun. This is this YouTube channel, as I mentioned in the 9th anniversary video, and probably before that, is about fun. It's a video record of my hobby that other people can watch, and that's pretty important. Best way to go about it. Oh, that one's peeking over the side. Let me try again. Luckily, it didn't crease. Oh, there's one more piece. There we go. I will say, even if I take these sets apart and use them for mocks, yeah, putting stickers on them probably isn't the best thing, but I can always peel those off. Or I mean, for all I know, you could always buy another copy of the set if I needed to, just for the parts themselves or whatever, because at least they're pretty cheap. At least like I said, they're $10. It's not bad. It's not a lot. Um, but that's something I have been looking into was buying Lego sets for the parts themselves, not necessarily to always build the set itself. Or maybe I'll build the set first time, but then, actually take it apart and put the parts into something else. I've done that with sets in the past, and usually not often, but it is something that I do want to try more of. I forgot to add the ones in the wings while I talk about this. I did that a long time ago, I want to say 2017 or so, with a bunch of Minecraft sets, or rather, a bunch of copies of the same Minecraft set, where I took it apart and used the parts to make a really big mock because they're a really good source at the time for dark bluish gray bricks. And for me, it was like, well, okay, it's faster for me to get them in the store, and each set wasn't, super expensive. Get a whole lot of bricks out of it that I need for my mock. than trying to order them on Bricks and Pieces or Bricklink, taking more time and might not have all that time available. So it worked out. Let's see. I used to skip placing the stickers. Gotta build it at least once. There have been a couple sets recently where I built the set without stickers on it. And I kind of regret that because some of them I want to go back and actually put the stickers on. I was like, okay, yeah, it might look a little bit better with the stickers. But then the sticker sheet is still around, but it's not with the set. So, mostly with the hidden side sets. I wanted to build a whole bunch of them, show them without the stickers, and then apply the stickers. And I've done that a handful of times before with Lego sets in the reviews themselves, that I would say, oh, I can build this with and without stickers and show, how everything goes. But then, okay. But then as things got moved around, especially with the recent move, stickers are still there, but they're not with the Lego sets. They may be, in a box or a bag or something elsewhere. I skipped a part in the instructions. Whoopsies. I was wondering why there were 2 gray pieces left over that weren't used in the set. So add some more stability. Cool. So, I'm not usually a plain guy. I don't think there's... I can't remember the last time I bought a Lego plain set, especially in Technic. So, seeing this feels fresh to me. I think I did remember having one big helicopter or plane kind of set a long time ago in Technic. I have no idea where any of the pieces are now. It's probably can't rebuild it, and if so, I would rather use those pieces to mock at this point. So, but yeah, too far away to compare them. But I do like... Hey, Cy O'Connor, welcome to the stream, buddy. So, I at least finished the first model, the main model, for 42117, the race plane, and all the stickers applied and such. I definitely like the colors. I mentioned that earlier. I'm a big sucker for teal. The more teal pieces, the better, because I would love to build more things in teal. I just need to get the parts themselves, or get the right sets with a lot of parts in teal to make it all worthwhile. But I do like Technic teal because that's less common than system teal, even nowadays, so I do like that. Okay, so the wheels in place, that's good. But you can easily move this thing back and forth, even on the ground. And you got the gear system in there to make the propeller move, which is pretty good. Can you move the propeller on its own? Not really. Literally, you're just holding it like this. No other functions that I can see on it. You can't really adjust any wings, ailerons, any other areas of it. Still got some details in there. Still got some nice stickers with the Loop King. And I'm guessing this is probably based on the designer. Maybe the initials of one of the designers. I don't mind too much about the Technic peeking through there, or the tan peeking through there. That gap is a little bit annoying. I don't mind this one itself because, yeah, you can have some open mechanisms, open engine, even on a race plane. But this feels weird as a gap when everything around it feels so flush. That's my opinion. And honestly, inside of the set itself, you can fix that with one of the extra pieces. Either that, or I skip something in the instructions again. This is very likely. I just had that literally before this first impressions, and oh no, it was actually supposed to be built that way. Alright, well anyways, you still got that idea of fixing that up. The gray in there, I don't think will be a big deal. But, did they make that piece in black? I don't know if they make it in black or white for the little bushing pieces. I do like that it's a nice integration of system with Technic across the top of it and on the sides to round things out a little bit more. But it's still primarily a Technic build. Even have the the lights on either side of it work out well. From this angle, yeah, it feels a little bit rough with having so many holes open, and that's just the nature of Technic. You're gonna have a little bit of skeletal structure somewhere. I think they've definitely improved Technic over the years from, again, the little experiences that I've had, understanding it. Admittedly, yeah, it would be nice if there was like a couple of pieces to put across this, maybe put some tiles in there to make them more flattened out. But, well, the rest of it still not bad in comparison. The underside's a little bit rough, having those open, but it's on the other underside, so it's not too big of a deal. Again, this is first impressions. I just built it. You just saw it. So I probably will have to refine things the more I test this all out, and rebuild it, because I am going to move on to building the alternate model soon. I do like the wing on there. It's funny. This is a Bionicle wing. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to make a big deal about it right now. I'll wait for later to do more about that. But this piece has existed in Bionicle. It's used very well with System and Technic. And something like this makes, doesn't seem out of place. It fits with the rest of the design. So that's over. I thought it said something on the box. No? Okay. I thought there was something either on the box or somewhere else about something else on it. But yeah, you have it as basically a good standing model. And you got the propeller moving. So technically, yeah, you could actually have this played as it's getting ready to go. Probably not in the same runway road area, but you get the idea that it could start up like that and then take off. I actually thought this wheel was going to like pop down for some reason, but I don't know. And I do like those style of wheels. I've seen this before in a couple Ninjago sets. I want to say one or two other times outside of Ninjago they've done that, and with a function built with it. Oh, wait, it's over here, actually. Yep, there it is. A similar function, with a similar size wheel in the Lego City Polybag, the hot dog polybag. Basically, as you wheel this thing around, it spins the umbrella with the hot dog on it, which is cute. It's a nice little thing. Funny that I had that on hand to talk about. I had no idea I was going to bring that up. There's a lot of nice teal pieces in here that are mostly Technic. I think one or two of them are actually System, but all good to have. So I'd say right off the bat, as a parts pack, it seems useful. I mean, it's 154 pieces for $10. If you like your price to piece ratio, then yeah, it does suit well for that. And then yeah, there's the variety of Technic pieces in there. So you can't make a lot of structure with it, but on the outside, cosmetics is good. And I'd say that's honestly more important. Like if I want to build other things in Technic and I want to use teal with them, I'd think of teal as the outside color, not like something I have to make all throughout the thing. Good balance too. Teal, orange, white. It almost feels like a creamsicle, but with teal, because it's orange, yellow. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go get my laptop and or some other device, so I can set up the online instructions. Since I'm doing this from my phone for the live stream, can't use that. So give me one moment. And I did see Bionicle Purpose comment about it being a cool set. Now, could I be building other things after this live stream? I mean, More backlog, I mean. Yeah, definitely, but I already got a lot taken care of. So I'm really just focusing on this. Lego 42117 instructions. I'll rebuild that as well. I mean, I know that with 2-in-1s and 3-in-1s, typically people like the first model, the main model, the one that they include instructions out of the box with it. And even creator, they'll give you instructions for the other ones, but the one people most look into is the main set. I know that because I have one or two around here that do exactly that. But I do like that there is the option that you can build other things using the same pieces, that they encourage that with pairs of instructions, that they give you enough parts to supplement that. I mean, would anyone else have thought about building a hot rod using this hood piece or trunk piece that was originally for the front of the loader? Probably not. Or having like a steering mechanism built into this where the original model didn't. Who knows? I have seen some people, they'll do it on their own of rebuilding something based on just the parts in the given set, and they're pretty cool to see. But nothing I've tried personally for a long time. There was, let's see, I think the 2012 ambulance, I did something like that, where I took the parts from the set, after building the main model, I took it all apart, and then I built it again using just those pieces, building something original. I did do a video about that on my channel a long time ago. I think it might be fun to try something like that again. I just had to find, quote unquote, the right set. I say that because there's still plenty of Lego sets where it has very specific pieces, specific function for them, that kind of make it more difficult to set up that way. If you have the right brain, if you have the right know-how of pieces, sure, anything's possible. But some might take a little bit more time. I'm actually looking across some of the other Lego sets I have built. I can think of a couple examples of it, but that will be for another day. Okay, Lego customer service 42117. Is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Just have to scroll down. So the alternate model for this one is almost a race plane. I'm not entirely sure if it's the kind used for racing. I usually think of it as just a show plane, but still kind of neat. That doesn't mean I'm going to take this all apart though. After just building it, I'm going to be back at square one. Actually, before square one. Before we started this live stream. So just give me a moment. But even if it's not for me, it's for somebody. Somebody will definitely enjoy that feature. I think as a kid, I did that a couple times with alternate models or alternate, inspirational models, as they call them, in the back of the instructions. Sometimes the creator sets would have a whole bunch of them where they just show a picture. Sometimes they include instructions with them. I'm talking like the designer sets. I want to say 2003, 2004, somewhere around then, sets were like that. A bunch. It was cool. For review purposes, I don't think I would literally build every single model out of it, but I can still commend it. For this one, I would be okay with that because, first of all, we have all the instructions for it. Second, it's part of how the set's made, how the set is advertised, that it's a 2-in-1, right on the box. I got one of the Technic sets in 2017 for the anniversary of the Technic theme. It was 40 years old at that time. So now 44. But what I found interesting lately is that I never reviewed it. I I I had the set for a long time. I built it, but I never did a video about it. And that is something I recorded a review over 6 months ago, but I still have to edit everything. I have a long, like, you think the Lego backlog is a lot, or even if you don't, you would imagine that I have a lot of Lego to still go through and different things between either sets or mocks to build. The video backlog is just, it's a lot. Like, it's almost a few years old of videos I want to get out, but haven't, or they haven't been fully refined. But I'll get there. Even if it shows me at the old place, that is something that's a little bit weird about some of them. That's like, oh well, you're not at that place before or anymore. It's like, oh, it's still recorded. If it's not an awful presentation, then I'll keep it. If it is, I'll redo it or scrap it. I get a lot of ideas for videos on a pretty regular basis. Like, in the past few days, I've had ideas for 2 to 3 more videos to make. And even one of those ideas, I came up with the idea one day, and then like 2 days later, expanded upon it. And it's like, okay, there's a lot to do here. One thing I'm a little bit upset about is that they don't include a bar element so that I can take out these pins. I'd say it's probably the easiest way to do so, because pulling them out from where they are, not easy. And there isn't, as far as I know, nope, no way to go through the entire panel piece to do that. So I don't know how it's going to affect the model a little later into it. I could think of another method or two, but it's not the kind of thing you would instinctively know how to try. So, oh well. I am looking forward to Brick Fair Virginia this year. I'm hoping that, for me personally, it goes better than other Brick Fairs I've had in the past. I'm going to be an attendee this time around. So I've went 2017. I went to Brick Fair Virginia as an attendee, having some mocks to display. But I went with a couple other people, and one of them was made the experience unpleasant. Let's put it that way. I mean, sure, I have things of my own that I've had that nervousness of, this is a big Lego Expo, and I don't think I've had one like this. Like, Philly Brick Fest is big, sure, but I've never been to Brick Fair Virginia before, and I was used to other brick fairs like in New Jersey being pretty compact. This one was big. There was tons of people I didn't know, that I didn't meet before. I may have met them online, but still, a little bit of different experience of meeting someone in person versus meeting them online. So basically the method I was thinking of, put a pin over the stud side of it. There we go. Put the pinhole, I should say, over the stud side of it. Try to push through if you can, or you just have to yank from the top of it. Brick separator part 2. They need to figure out a way of peeling out pieces like that, because there's a bunch of them, especially in this set itself. A bunch of them that I had to do something. At least some of them, I have the hole available on the other side where I could just put an axle through it and push that way. Like I said, the wings, not so much. I'll put the pinholes there. Pull up. I'm surprised I got all 3 of them, because just like before, it took me 1 or 2 tries to get the pins out. Anyways, Brick Fair, Virginia. So, I had bad experiences at Brick Fair, Virginia, not from the staff, but from the company I kept at 2017. And there were a lot of people that I met for the first time there, one or two that I didn't avoid because I didn't like them. I avoided because I was too nervous to meet them. Like that they were usually occupied with other people that I didn't know if they had known me before online or if I just knew them, that so I had no idea how that would work. Um, One of them included was Kevin Hinkle. And it's a great quote unquote origin story. It's a fun story. I think I've shared it with Kevin before on live stream of how we met at Brick Fair, Virginia, and everything worked well. I'm glad everything went up from there. It was definitely one of the highlights, not just of meeting him, but also having other times, later to talk with him because I'm usually like when I meet someone who's well regarded, well known, I try my best to keep cool. And I'm not gonna like completely like I'm not gonna act like an over obsessed fan or anything and be like, oh my god, you're the best, I can't believe this happened. If anything, I'm usually more reserved. I'm more quiet about it. I'm like, hi, I don't know what to say here, but I'm here we are. Yeah, so um and I also know from other people from other celebrity experiences, quote unquote celebrity experiences. Sometimes they just want to be treated like people. They don't need the pomp and circumstance, the fanfare, you know. They know that people like them. They know that people think they're great. But it diminishes how they talk to people if that's all they get. So sometimes, depending on the person, they just want to be treated like anybody else. They just want to be treated like, "Hi, how are you?" Just it's very casual. You know, when I do, I try to acknowledge their work at least for a bit, but I'm not gonna go like 10 paragraphs saying why they're the best thing ever. I've met some before and after Kevin, not um not buddy buddies with them, but I still try to make those experiences pleasant for everybody. I'm not an Oversteps fan, and that they're comfortable in their own skin, greeting other people. Oh boy, this one's gonna be a tough one. That method I said before, not gonna quite work here because I just tried it using the same piece. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. And it doesn't have a hole to go through it, so I can't poke it from the other side. We'll see how that turns out on the alternate model. And so let's see. Yeah, Brick Fair, Virginia, 2017. Not only did I have issues with one or two people that I went with, like that I was rooming with, but also with myself, just in that environment. And I think I made a video. I don't know if it's. I think I still have it up on the channel. I haven't mentioned it in a while. But I did make a video that related to that kind of, opening up. I'm usually not that kind of person. I usually, take a while to get acquainted with things and other people. Sometimes people have to, push me along to get something done, or like not get something done. What's the word? To be, to be talk or to be able to talk. But anyways, yeah, I'm very shy usually, actually. Surprising because I run a YouTube channel, but it happens. So anyways, I've gotten better at 2019's Brick Fair, Virginia, but still need a lot of work. There are still some people that like some that I knew were at 17 but did not meet in person until 2019, And I was like, oh, so this is happening for real now. and at least a couple that I did already know that made the experience a little bit smoother, you know. Whether or not they were aware that I was very nervous, very shy, very, reserved. But it definitely helped. Yeah, I made a better video. Or I made a video with better commentary about this uh, long before. So I might actually throw that one up on the community tab soon, especially with that jitters again. I mean, it's also a little bit different now because we've had a long period without the conventions. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. Gotta move it. I mean, yeah. So obviously 2020 didn't really have any LEGO conventions going on, but also even 2019, I don't remember that many. Either that or I'm just blending parts of time together. I already had that problem in 2018 where I couldn't remember things if it happened in 2018 or 2019. And it's because both of those years went so fast. Some things felt similar, like it could have happened in one or the other. But I'm going to try to make that better. I'll try. I don't know exactly how to try this year, to be honest. Other than the classic be yourself. It's usually a good way to go with it. So most people would recommend. Uh-oh, we're gonna have a problem here. This is in the way. So I'm gonna grab a piece from another Lego set to work this out. Yep. Little extra trick. Oh, there I go. I already have another video idea. Alternatives to a brick separator. Yeah, in the background, I have too many videos. Too many video ideas. I don't have to make every single one of them, but I also feel like I have to make a lot of videos, and I can't deny an idea because I'm going to need to make a video, eventually. So, yeah. But yeah, at least there are some returning people that could make it a little bit more comfortable for me. Some people that I already know from Brick Fair and other LEGO conventions I've went to before, or just know them in general. That can make that experience a little bit smoother. But the thing that makes it a little bit more uncomfortable for me this time around is that I haven't participated in a lot of events at Brick Fair. Once in a while, I might attend a panel or something, but I didn't go to that many from what I remember in 2017, and I was working at Brick Fair in 2019, so I didn't. As that looks so far, mostly making a big frame. So I didn't attend that many in 2019 because I was working at the fair, so I couldn't, I couldn't go to at certain time intervals for things, or if I did, it was while the thing was still running. Like I missed part of it, and maybe one part more than the other being more significant. That happened with, I want to say, two different. So Cy O'Connor was asking. Sorry, I missed the comment. Wow, I don't know why it didn't show up before. Because I literally just saw it now, up here on the screen when the phone reconnected. So Cy O'Connor says, Joey, did you try to get the Bionicle Bricklink set? So, the long story short, no. I tried to get it, but I didn't get the pre-order in. The elaborate story is that, if if somebody is watching this, whether live or after the fact, don't rag on me in the comments. I've already tried to speak to someone about that, and I'm not up for it. It's not worth my time. But I, you know, somebody I explained it before on a video. The video got taken. I took down the video personally because somebody was getting, was basically trolling in the comments. And it's like, okay, you're looking at a detail that you don't have all the information to, and it's not important for me to say all the details. But making assumptions about me that weren't true. Like, why? It was ridiculous, basically. But yeah, I tried to place a pre-order for it, and basically it didn't work. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this again later. And I wasn't aware at first that the Bricklink Designer program was only for the first 5 of the projects that were presented, 7 of them. Only the first 5 that were fully funded would get made as sets. I thought, oh, these are all the options that they have, and this is just the first, wave of it, or oh, people are going so quickly at it because it might sell out and take a long time to reproduce or something like that. No, they're only limiting a certain number of copies. I mean, it makes sense in retrospect, but especially when this is something that's at a lower grade than an ideas project, where it's like, okay, these were passable enough to get the support for ideas, but they weren't voted on, and it makes sense that they wouldn't make as many copies of them because I'm sure that there was a history of ideas projects that were 10K supported but maybe not 10K selling. I mean, or it took a while for it to reach that 10K. I don't know for sure. Oops, I put the wrong piece in here, or I put the pieces in too soon. But either way, I didn't get the pre-order in. I'm not upset that it didn't become a project, or that it didn't become a fully funded Lego set. As I saw it later that day, where it didn't get close, even before the Cockapoo was the final one, I was like, this isn't gonna happen, and that's all there is. That's all we wrote. The Cockapoo is still impressive. I still like that as a model. I don't know if I'd get it as a set, but I do already have the ideas birds. So, if you've seen my video about the top 10 Lego idea sets I've owned, I do like that one a lot. And, the connection to birds in general, it appeals to me, but I don't know if it's in scale with that set or if it's kind of taking its own thing. But none of them were bad models. None of them were bad projects. I may have not supported them when they were on ideas, but I still appreciate how they're built. The Uncle Forever says he's going to get the train station, thinking at least 200 to 250. The train station terrifies me, to be honest, because it looks too large. It's elaborate, sure. It's very nicely done, but for a product, even in a limited run, it feels big. Almost too big. And the fact that it got a second chance honestly surprises me, but I don't know if it's... I think they said that it was going to be close to the original model for any of these. They were still going through testing phases with them, but essentially what you see is what you'll get. I could be wrong, but that's how I understood many of these. And I thought, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask for. I mean, it's basically on the scale of a modular, but almost twice the size of a modular. And me personally, I don't know how to stomach that. Oops, I skipped a step again. I have to build this off frame because I'm trying to look at everything closely. Make sure I don't miss anything, but I did anyways. So oh well. There was one or two other ones like that. They were kind of in a modular scale that I basically have the same sentiments. They're neat models. I'm sure they'd be highly impressive to see in person. But if they were made as an official Lego set, I feel like it would have to take some tweaks or would be, gargantuan. Be a lot to put together to, to follow instructions, even if they were online only or whatever. It's a lot. It's a tall order. It's a lot to ask for. There we go. So I do like the difference between these two models, where it's like, okay, it still borrows the same element of this gear system, but now you have it in the back instead of the front. And I guess technically you could turn the wheels, so you can make this thing, angle it a little bit. Turning the whole model, I don't know. It's probably not going to work. But now it's got like a more forward look to it. Ooh, oh, I dropped it. Sorry. Give me a moment. On that side. There we go. And boom. Gear up there. Now it's not that I would have just bought the Bionicle set if it actually did go through. If everything did work out, it would have been my first choice because the option was presented. But I still like the other ones. I still appreciate what the other ones were, what they were going for. And if things worked better, I would consider those too. Like, I do like the castle one. I do think that's actually a pretty good model. And representing the Forestmen, which didn't have a lot of Lego sets back in the day. So that's pretty neat. It's a pretty good option. I mean, would I rather? I figure if both happened, I would have gotten the castle set much later, but again, any of the support that I've given towards Bionicle in recent years has only been like of official Lego Bionicle. The only support that I've given is only when it's presented. And I'm not begging for more opportunities of it. It's more of just, well, it's here. Let's see what happens. And it didn't. I didn't buy the fire truck set from Hidden Side because it has a Bionicle reference in there. I didn't buy Ninjago City Docks because that has a Bionicle reference in there. Or actually Ninjago City proper too. Those are neat to have the Easter eggs, just like it has Easter eggs for a lot of other themes, like Lego Racers or Island Extreme Stunts. But I bought Ninjago City because it's Ninjago City. I still bought it for the essence of what it is. I can't say the exact same thing for one of the upcoming stunt sets. I have openly said that, yes, I do like the stunt bike that features Rocket Racer, and if I'm going to buy one, I'm going to buy that one. But it's an entire set Easter egg. So I don't know how else you'd dance around that. Otherwise, I'd just pick up the figure by itself on Bricklink or Bricks and Pieces or whatever. That's the other option of it. It's like, okay, well, I have to buy the whole set, and I could just get the figure on its own. Series 18, I was going to collect all the figures anyways, but it is neat that there was a Rocket Racer, Easter egg in there too. I I don't know. There are some Lego sets recently that I've just thought, you know what? I could buy this without the context of the original set. I could still enjoy it without what it's going for, and either modify it to what I want, or just enjoy it as a building experience. I mean, in the background right now of this video, over there and up there, it's actually way off camera now, but over there you can already see peeking through a Friends amusement park set. And it took me a while before I picked up that one and one off screen, because I like the underwater theming, I like the amusement park. Yes, those are all good things. I wasn't a fan of the price, and I waited for them to go down a bit before picking those up. But I can also do more with them after building those sets. My intentions are actually going to be on video of how to motorize them, and a couple other sets I have in mind to do something similar of modifying them. But let's go to other examples here. So I like some of the Spider-Man sets. Some of them I like, more of the set in one way than the other. But I know there's some that I'm not a fan of. It's like, okay, I built this, but this spider jet thing doesn't do anything for me. Sure, I may be in it for the figures at best, and maybe one or two builds or the side build or something, but I'm not into the design of the jet. I could either modify it, I could just scrap it for parts. What I'm trying to say here is that I don't want to just buy every single Lego set and keep it as only that Lego set. I want to actually modify things, tweak them a bit, make them a little bit more my own thing. I mean, I could always make something from scratch, yeah. But if there's something that I'm not a fan of with the original intent, I can change it. And that's one of the things that I find funny, and probably one of the reasons why I barely bring up, a problem with a Lego set, when reviewing it, is that if you don't like it, you can change it. I mean, most things in them. I'm sure there are some things here and there that might take a little bit more time or might be out of hands to change, but for the most part, if you say, oh, I don't like this color scheme, like one of my friends built the Technic Jeep several months back, and he said, I like the Jeep, I like the style of the Jeep, it's the kind of model that he likes, but I don't like the color scheme. I would rather it be in black instead of yellow. And I went on to Bricklink, looked up the parts list of everything, and I was like, well, you can change that. It would take a bit more money, of course, but the parts for most of the parts for that set that are in yellow exist in black. I think there's only one or two of them that were harder to find or don't exist in that color currently. It was like that macaroni wedge kind of piece. It's fairly new. I know the Lego Batman movie sets had a bunch of them in red. So basically that piece was hard to find in black, or didn't exist at all. I forget which. The other option that he considered was, well, if I just wanted it in black, I could paint it. I can paint it in black. And that's a very fair option, even if it's like, okay, that's not my kind of thing, but if you want that, you can still do that. It's your copy of the set. You can do what you want with it. I'm not gonna go against that. I'm not gonna dispute it. And that goes for anybody. I mean, even custom minifigure making. I know plenty of people who paint onto torsos and heads, etc. They might modify the actual pieces or make a clay thing to go on top when the sculpt doesn't exist. Again, that's up to you. That's not a bad choice. It's a different choice, and I can respect that because that's your copy of it. You can do what you want with it for the purpose that you need it for. And it's something that I actually considered recently. There was one custom minifigure that I've worked on. I couldn't find a piece in a certain color, and I'm looking into how do I paint it. I was actually recommended to paint it in a certain way, like a certain material, so that it'll last longer and it'll look cleaner. But I'd still have to get that material in order to do so. I would say, yeah, there's a couple times with that where it's like, okay, yeah, you can always change things around. Yes, I like collecting Lego. Yes, I like building the sets as they are. But like I said earlier in the stream, it's good to build the set at least once, and then if I feel obligated to do something else with it, I can do that. I think I've had a couple other times. The Pirate Roller Coaster, one of my best examples, one of my best videos that I ever made on the channel, and not because it was one of the more highly viewed ones, but because I actually felt good presenting it. That video was about modifying a Lego set, the Pirate Roller Coaster, so that it can be motorized. And it worked. I mean, I think the modification itself only worked for some time because I know that I had run it for a while afterwards, and it didn't quite hold out the same way. By the way, I do want to acknowledge, it's funny to me that the alternate model for this, each of the steps also say to include the stickers, and they're including them in exactly the same way as the first model. But it's funny enough that they even have that as part of their step is, include the stickers here. I mean, it still works. Like, all the stickers still work together, and I'm glad that they work from one model to the next. Like, oh, I can just swap these around and, I'll have to apply the sticker differently or whatever. Just thought that'd be interesting. But what was I saying? The part about I lost my train of thought. The part about making something your own. The Pirate Roller Coaster, I used pieces from my own collection to modify it in order to motorize it, and most of those parts I kept with the set. It's not just something I did for the video and then I took them out and I said, oh, I want to keep the set 100% as it was. No, I've taken parts from that set. I've taken parts from the mod itself, and I still enjoy it. I do want to make a newer version of that video, however, with a more refined and more structurally intact version of that setup. I actually wanted to do a video around this time last year, like August or so, when the NES came out, the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. I wanted to make a video modifying that. However, the problem that I had was I didn't have the set, and I was basically working off of concept. By the time I did get the set, and I got to the point in the instructions where I could do the modification, it didn't work. Basically, there wasn't enough space as I originally predicted in order to make that function go. It doesn't mean that I can't do it, it just means it won't work the way that I planned it would. So I'd either have to go back to the drawing board, make a new design for it, or stick to one of the plan B or C options I came up with. At that time, I thought, well, if this function doesn't work, then maybe I could try another one. And I could still do that. I just have to go back actually to the set itself and, again, see physically how it would work instead of just the digital concepts on the Lego Digital Designer I came up with. So, we now got the alternate model done. And it looks pretty good. It definitely looks different from the original one, even if it's using the same pieces and actually a few less here. So if you did want those parts, to use elsewhere, you have the option for it. Basically, that. Um, it still serves the same function that as you. Did I lose a wheel? I lost a wheel. Did I lose a wheel on the floor? It's not on the instruction book. How did I lose a wheel? I was standing up fine earlier. Awkward. I'm trying to move other things on the floor, find out where it went. That's my guess, is that it fell off when the model fell out of my hand, but I don't. Weird. Well, gonna have to find that. No, not over there. Gonna fall back here. Not that I can see. Well, that's awkward. So I finished the build, and I didn't finish the build. Okay. Well, either way, I'm still gonna wrap up here. And basically, even with the wheel missing, I can still talk about how this alternate model works and looks and everything like that. And I'll just get that fixed up later. Even if I have to borrow it from another set. I did actually tear apart some of the airport battle set from Captain America Civil War to use parts in a mock. Perfect example. I will replace those pieces sometime later, but for now, actually for a few years now, I've been okay keeping them with the mock because the mock is more presentable and more, more enjoyable to have around. That's something else I got to work on for Virginia. The Lego Store mock has not had an official video on the channel. I think it had 1 or 2 update videos, but I don't think I ever showed it complete on video itself, giving it its own showcase kind of thing. I want to make a video for that. But I also, for Brick Fair Virginia, want to have a photo book, like a scrapbook basically, to go through as many photos as possible of what the place looked like. Some people were curious about what the pop-up store was like, that because they never had a chance to go there. It was only available for the holiday season in 2018, and now that's almost 3 years old. So, and even when it was only 6 or 7 stores available anywhere. Unfortunately, I didn't get photos that much of the Manchester store, I remember, because I did visit there one day, but I don't remember a lot of photos from it. Didn't take as many as I did the store in New Jersey, obviously being closer to me. But I do want to share about that. I think that would be a cool supplemental thing with the model, so people can see what it was like, and maybe a little write-up about it. A little, like a miniature Bazaar Lego, if you may. I'll have more information about Bazaar Lego sometime later, though. But progress is still going well on that, even if I've had to push other things off to the side to make that happen, or to further that. So anyways, about the jet. I'm not familiar with a lot of aircraft, different types of aircraft. I'm going to assume that there is some form of plane or jet that has a propeller like that, but I don't know for sure, and probably could research about that before making a more proper video. But as a first impression kind of thing, it still looks clean. It still gets a good idea going across most of it. I did feel it was a little weird for a while, being very flat, everywhere was plain, but it did build itself up a bit more. A little more gappy than the other design, to be fair. Like all these spaces in between. I don't mind the holes as much on the sides because that could be attributed to, either engine detail or something like some kind of air take or wind resistance kind of things. where it just felt too many holes on the wings on the plane. My opinion might change about that, but for now, that's what I noticed. I do like that it still has the same function. I did point out earlier that this one is a different angle when it's being rolled compared to the other one where it had a little more downward angle, or no, upward angle I meant. I thought that this would have a downward angle, but it actually stays pretty parallel to the ground because of how that's all set up under there. That's a little bit more clean. There's not as many like parts that are standing out or anything. A little bit on the ends there with the half pins, but they're underneath again. A little bit more. Yeah, you can kind of see them a little bit from there, but I don't think it's a big deal. Basically, when I want to review Lego sets again, I have a lot of Lego sets, obviously, I can review that I've already built, but I've been delaying on trying to make more about them because not only do I have a big video backlog and just want to shove a bunch of things through there if they're still doable, but also I want to make a new rating system for reviews. For historically, for a long time, I never really rated Lego sets, or if I did, it was very like infrequent. It wasn't like a full rating system that you could go to any review and say, "Oh, what does he think of this out of 10?" Or does he give it a letter grade? I know some people do letter grades. I usually let the video carry itself. The enthusiasm that I show for the set, or how much I pick apart at different details of it, could say good or bad about the product. Um, so there may be some videos that would still appear like that, but I do have some that I would like to make a rating system and try to continue forward with that. At least if the rating system works well. I'd still have to kind of proof the system and make sure that it's not going to be too rigged or anything like that. I have done that in the past where I've been like, I talk, you know, too positively about some Lego products because it's Lego. Not necessarily because I'm being fair about it. I don't look at it the right way or more outside perspective of like, is this actually a good thing or is it not a good thing? Sometimes in the background of my head, I think of, oh, I got this set cheap. So that makes me more interested in it because I didn't have to pay the full price. Or, oh, this set was a breeze to build. Or, oh, this is from a theme that I already like. Those biases need to be filtered out. I mean, they can be acknowledged in the review, but the ultimate, like, rating or grading of it, whatever the consensus about the review is, it needs to be more unbiased, and that's something that I've wanted to work on for a long time, and hopefully will come through sometime later in video form. So for now, both of these sets do the job that they need to do. They they get the point across. The alternate models are interesting. This one having a different design while keeping the same function. This one having a different design and a different function, a little more, a little more basic on the function itself, and the designs here or there as far as how gappy it is or how certain parts weren't used, and I would have preferred one or two other ones, but I do like for both of them. I have one or two gripes about the models of how they work that I could easily fix with the extra parts, whether it's the alternate or the main model. So that's something I will say is like a good thing. I don't know if I'd say like, oh, they intended that to happen or anything like that. It's like, oh well, for me personally, when I do this, I could add these pieces back in there if I wanted to fill in this gap or whatever, or this piece, to smooth that out. But for now, yeah, these were still fun to build. They were still fun to try different methods of Technic pieces. I was actually interested in how the pieces work together because I wouldn't have thought about this structure for either of them or the alternate models. Um, if you just handed me a box of pieces, I think that by itself could be fun if I took another Technic set I just pour out the pieces and then try to build it based on just the box and my knowledge of Technic pieces going together. It's probably going to be a disaster. I've definitely seen that done with other people before, inside and out of the Lego community, and the results are hilarious, sure, but also inaccurate. Um, I don't know. It's also hard for me to find smaller sets nowadays, like for Technic. In my area, Technic doesn't show up that often in stores, or if it is, it's like only a handful of Technic sets, not a wide range of them. So I basically have to go to a Lego store in order to find more Technic options. The retailers, they carry if they carry 10 Technic sets on the shelf at the same time, it's incredible, but usually gonna find less than that. And I remember having a struggle like that last year before the 9th anniversary live stream, where I was trying to find Technic sets in the stores to build. Literally, every store had the same one Technic set that I got it, but I was hoping to find another one or two like it to build and couldn't. And then it just went up in the price bracket to something that I was like, it's not that I won't enjoy building this, but this feels like a lot to add for the live stream, and I supplemented it with other sets I already had. Um, other tech, like much older Technic sets. One of them was Dacta technically, and another one was Mindstorms last year. So at least this time around, I was able to find a few more options, but yeah, still baby steps. I don't think throwing myself full force into like the Fast and Furious Technic set or something, like the Land Rover or anything like that is going to help me because I need something on a more basic level to start things out and get acquainted with that, even if it takes a while. So at least I can see different methods and different functions, even using a handful of Technic pieces in different ways in order to, build it myself, develop some of this myself. I mean, there's also the option of looking through instructions where I don't even have to buy a set in order to do it. But this does give me the benefit of just adding more Technic parts to my collection. And after